Today, if we want to make changes to the cathedral or bring anything into the cathedral, we have a series of committees to be consulted, views to be considered, and then rules to be applied. This was not necessarily the case in the 15th century. After about 1450, the then parish church underwent a significant rebuilding and modernisation. An important part of that was a whole series of new ceilings. These ceilings were within the choir aisles, the nave and the nave aisles, and most of those survive today, although that in the nave was rebuilt in 1933. An integral part of these ceilings is a thing called a boss. Now essentially that's a big lump of timber into which other bits of timber are joined. It essentially is the jointing mechanism that holds the ceilings up. And at Wakefield we are very fortunate to have a whole series of these depicting a range of scenes and devices. Now, many of these are fairly standard. We have representations of saints, we have representations of leaves and trees. We also have Christ in Majesty, and we have famously the Wakefield Apprentice. But one of the great joys of the medieval world was that the craftsmen were allowed a little bit of freedom. So we have a lot of slightly more risque and abstract devices. For instance, we've got heraldic beasts, but it's the heads that are of great fun. In particular, in the north and south choir aisles, we have a number of heads that are, well, shall we say, a little bit rude. Some are sticking their tongues out, some are pulling funny faces. And I like to think that the craftsmen of the time were looking at the great and the good, the movers and shakers of medieval Wakefield and thinking, I'll immortalise you forever, but in a way that you might not necessarily appreciate. Now, any similarities to current members of the council, the cathedral staff or the cathedral clergy is purely accidental, but I have to say one of them looks rather like me. So when this coronavirus crisis is over, and put it crudely, we've all had a good haircut, please come back to the cathedral, bring some binoculars and look up at the ceilings, particularly in the East End. There's some wonderful things to behold, and please look for the Apprentice, Christ in Majesty, and one or two of those more risky devices, particularly in the North Choir aisle, where there's a wonderful face sticking his tongue out.